Today on Live Daily News, a crash slowed down traffic on Knickerbocker, 2 San Angelo men have been indicted, walls are up for the new Chick-Fil-A, and San Angelo Live will be at the ArcLight Bar and Grill for Election Day. I'm James Bellini, and this is Live. We'll get to the news in a minute, but first, the ArcLight Bar and Grill will be the go-to place for everything politics tomorrow, as San Angelo Live will be live streaming all the results from the election. The big race, of course, is the presidential race between former President Donald Trump and current Vice President Kamala Harris. The local races include either voting for or against Proposition A for San Angelo Independent School District. San Angelo Live will have Drew Darby, Dr. Taylor Kingman, Sheriff Nick Hanna, and Rick Bacon at the ArcLight Bar and Grill, located inside the Clarion Hotel at 441 Rio Concho Drive. Starting things off, concrete work is nearly complete and walls have started going up at the new Chick-Fil-A. In the August building inspection report, Chick-Fil-A was issued a permit in the amount of $1.2 million to build a new restaurant that will be located at 2210 North Bryant Boulevard right behind Icon Cinema. This will be the 5th Chick-Fil-A in town, with one on Sherwood Way, one on Knickerbocker Road, and one on campus at Angelo State University, and one in the Sunset Mall. An official opening date has not yet been announced. 2 San Angelo men have been indicted. 39-year-old Brian Espinosa was indicted for evading arrest when he allegedly took off from law enforcement on a half-hour foot chase at Home Motors on Cristobal Road. Home Motors informed police that Espinosa was on property and he had outstanding warrants for his arrest. He was booked in Montgomery County Jail on July 3rd and has remained an inmate since. Also, 24-year-old Juan Rodriguez was indicted for injury to an elderly individual after he allegedly attacked a 75-year-old man at a residence that was under construction. The alleged attack was caught on video, and Rodriguez was arrested on August 3rd of this year and is next due in court on November 12th. Have you downloaded the San Angelo Live mobile app yet? It's free and it's the best app in the business. Download it off the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Stay up to date with news in San Angelo. And a 2-vehicle crash clogged up Knickerbocker Road this afternoon. Around 2 p.m., a major motor vehicle accident was called at the 4700 block of Knickerbocker Road, where a Buick and a BMW collided in front of Jack's convenience store. The BMW was traveling westbound on Knickerbocker, and the Buick came out of the private drive at the Quinta Inn and then failed to yield the right-of-way to the BMW. Both vehicles sustained front-end damage, and a woman from the Buick was transported to Shannon Medical Center. At the moment, though, it looks like the driver of the Buick will receive a citation for failure to yield the right-of-way. The crash did shut down the westbound lanes of Knickerbocker while crews cleaned up the debris. And early voting is over, as Election Day is tomorrow, so that will be the last day to vote. Tune into San Angelo Live as Joe Hyde and Yancey's Green will be live from the ArcLight Bar and Grill at 7:30. We'll have special guests in Drew Darby, Nick Hanna, Rick Bacon, and Dr. Taylor Kingman. The presidential race is the big race between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, while the big local election is to either vote for or vote against Proposition A for SAISD. So remember to tune into San Angelo Live for all of your election coverage. And into weather, we have a beautiful week ahead that looks like it will continue. We had a beautiful weekend, and it looks like it's going to continue through the beginning of this week. Right now, it's 75 degrees outside with a high of 77 and a low tonight of 47 with increasing clouds. Tomorrow, the high is 69, and then tomorrow night, the low hits 44. On Wednesday, the high jumps up to 80, and then the low dips down to about 49 on Wednesday night. Thursday and Friday, we do have a chance of thunderstorms. Thursday, those chances start off at about 30% and increase to about 50%. Overnight, they increase again to about 80%. On Friday, those chances are up to about 70%, and they drop to 30% over Friday night. And when we come back, Mark Smith talks about the Bobcats' win over Odessa, and then they talk about Frenship next. And then we have David Bixler with SAISD in studio. But first, a word from the Bass Bunch.
$59,999 for a new Ford Expedition XLT. Get a full-size 3-row seating SUV for the family that needs a lot of room. Equipped with a moonroof, second-row captain seats, along with many more features, make it the absolute perfect SUV. You can only get deals like this at Jim Bass Ford, Houston Hart and Arden Road, or shop 24/7 at bassbunch.com, or use this QR code. Yep, the one on my shirt.
Coach, obviously there was a reschedule to the game for the next morning. Do you feel that the guys came out with a little bit more intensity on Saturday than they did on Friday?
I do, and we had plenty of time to try to kind of, remind them about what was going on and what was happening, and we I thought they stayed really focused in. It was a long delay. We were in here for a long time, just kind of waiting to see if we're going to go back out. And that's a challenge sometimes, to make sure that you keep a team engaged and in a mindset ready to go play. And I was really proud of them. I thought from the beginning of the break to the end, they were locked in and engaged. And once we decided to, postpone the game till the next day, then we got them here in plenty of time. I think that was a little bit to our benefit, being at home. We didn't have to get back on a bus and go back, somewhere, and then get back on a bus and come back. So, we got them here, and from the moment they got back in the building, we had the music going on down the hallway, just creating the environment, the mood that we wanted. And I thought it was really, really good, from them, and they had the right mental disposition when we took the field again on Saturday.
You took over for a struggling team, and you took them to their first district win in a little over a year. Your first year coaching for them. How can you build on this going into next season?
Well, I think a foundation has been laid. And I just thinking about it over the weekend. There were some things. Obviously we wanted to win more games. And this team is ready to do that. And sometimes you just have to take the steps. You have to crawl before you can walk, and walk before you can run before you can sprint. And we're on that path right now. And I think the foundation has been laid in terms of, an expectation to win, was missing, with the team when I got here in February. What it takes work habits wise to be able to go out and practice day in and day out, to have a chance to win, was also not where it needed to be. And just team morale was not very high. And I think all three of those things we've improved on. I think there is an expectation to win here. The work habits are in place, morale is high. I think the foundation has been laid, as has been said. For this is team 104. It's certainly been set for team 105.
I was going to ask, y'all just been so close in district. Just how important was it just to get over that hurdle and in that?
It was good, and I think I said it, on Saturday, afternoon. We've won different ways this year. We've kind of stretched some leads out and won. We've come from behind, had a lead, lost it, came from behind, and this one was kind of a, just kind of a gutted out, win, and just proud of them. The team has found different ways where there's not just one formula for winning, and sometimes, in football, the ball bounces your way. We had a couple of, uncharacteristic turnovers that kind of kept us from stretching and pulling away in that game, but the defense continued to come back, respond. Offense did a great job kind of getting first downs and running the clock out there towards the end. The biggest play of the game in my mind was the blocked extra point that we returned. I always, I tell our players that I look at, when I'm scouting another team, I want to watch their PAT field goal block. I always think that anytime they're out there, something bad just happened. They gave up a touchdown. How much effort did they play with? How hard did they play? Can they refocus on that play? Are they still worried about what just happened the play before? We gave up a 75-yard touchdown on a trick play, and then got right in there, flat backed, ready, came off the ball, had a great pull on the tight end. The bicycle guy between the tight end and the wing is right through there, Zayden. We get a great block. And now the air in the balloon that was just up there for them is let out. And I just thought that was kind of tells the story of this team, just the resiliency that they have. No matter what's happened, they come right back the next play with that attitude to go make a play.
Yeah, Coach, it feels like over the past couple of years, this team has felt very, one-dimensional. They knew how to throw the ball and score a lot of points and kind of just outscore people. It's not too often that they would win a district game 23-13. Talk about, the mentality shift on this team.
Well, I just think it kind of goes back to what I said in the beginning, just the expectation to win. And I think a lot of it is, just the educational piece, just talking to them about, the complementary nature of football that we want to play, and sometimes the way the game is, you got to win the game, 58-57, and sometimes you got to win one 23-13, and that looks different from week to week. And I think that it just goes back to a mindset that the players have to have. That what is it going to take? Whatever it takes this particular week. And sometimes you don't know that formula, and it begins to develop during the course of a game. And then, all right, this is what this game is going to be like. And we ran the ball well on Friday night and Saturday. The wind was blowing really hard, in the stadium here with the storm that had blown through. So, especially if you're moving in one direction, it was hard to throw the ball against, that wind. So, we're able to establish a really good ground game, consistent running with that. Had a 100-yard rusher, again this week. So, that was kind of the formula for winning this week. It wasn't in past weeks. It's been throw the ball, all over the place and do it. So I think it speaks to the complexity of this team, knowing that, man, we can do different things to win. And whether it's running the ball, throwing the ball, playing good defense, making plays on special teams, kind of an overall team win. Although, the score, I thought it could have been stretched a little bit more. I couldn't be prouder of the way that we did it, and it just showed us again, we found another way to win.
Speaking of scoring points, you're at Frenship for the last game here. Kind of what do you expect from them, and how do you want your team to respond?
Well, they've been scoring a lot of points, and even in the one game they lost, it was a 48-46. So this is a team that's got very talented players on offense, and they've got talented players on defense as well. They play sound in special teams. It's going to be one of those games where can we limit their big plays? They're going to make some plays. They got really good players and personnel. Can we limit those big plays? And can we control the football? And do things to put us in position to win? Can we come out right from the opening kickoff and establish that, in this game? I think, the first quarter of this game is going to be very important, not that it's not in other games, but in particular this game, and to try to, grab hold of, game control early in this game and not, play in a stalemate or play, from behind, but grab game control early and establish that. That's going to be our focus this week.
It's hard to believe how reckless some people can be and how hard they fight against real victims. You need a partner who consistently beats the Giants and who will never, ever flinch.
And welcome back, everybody. I'm James Bellini. I'm here with Dr. David Bixler from ASU. You said David, right?
David.
David,
Yes.
how are we doing today?
Doing pretty well. Getting ready for an exciting opportunity this Friday. We've got the Student Research Showcase coming up.
That's just about to say, on the 8th.
Yep.
What is the Student Research Showcase about?
So on November 8th from 12 to 1:30, we've got about 20 students, undergraduate and graduate students, who are going to present their research projects. So they put up a poster and they stand in front of it, answer questions about what kind of research they've been doing.
All right, and you said one of the topics that is kind of big is AI.
AI is definitely a topic we're seeing a lot in here. There's computer science projects looking at coding AI, but there's also a lot of projects looking at how to use AI. So English project looking at how to write novels using it. There's also a how to learn how to prompt AI. I didn't go into this one earlier, but there's how do you write those prompts? How do you make AI give you the answers that you want it to give you? Things of that sort. So there's a lot of interest. A lot of research right now. AI is a hot topic, and we don't all know exactly where it's going to lead to.
Right, I know we were talking about Terminator, and hopefully it's not Terminator.
We won't
in
Wall-E.
Westworld.
We
It's
won't Wall-E.
But yeah, just I guess kind of go into some of the, have these students been working on this all year? Have they been working on it since the semester started?
So the majority of the ones presenting in November are the ones that have just been working through a semester. So they started back in August. Some of them would start in the summer, and they have got some results. In some cases, they're final results. In some cases, they're preliminary, but that's what they're presenting this November. That's why we have about 20 students. In April, this next year, we'll have about 60 to 80 students that have been working throughout the whole year, including some of these 20 who have final results from their preliminary. So you always see more in the spring because of they've had the whole year to finish their projects. But this fall, we get to see some preliminary results, and it's always exciting.
No, I mean, just kind of talking with you, before it seemed really interesting that, in high school it's so much pass and fail, and when you get to college, you get into some of this research that maybe it's not as simple as or as black and white as pass and fail. Sometimes it is that gray area where you find a question, and that maybe that question is just part of your answer.
And that's absolutely right. Of course, most of education, when you're going through it, you know there is an answer.
Right.
There's an answer in the back of the book, or at least the teacher knows the answer, and will grade you on it, sometimes harshly. But when you get into research, nobody knows the answer. Like, there isn't an answer yet. You're discovering that answer. You're exploring to discover that answer. And in many cases, you discover something that maybe doesn't work. And that's fine. If you fail, if the experiment fails, but that teaches you something. You're like, okay, I know that method doesn't work. Maybe there's something else that does.
So failure is an option.
Failure is an option.
In some cases.
Yes, definitely so. I think you learn a lot from failures.
I think so too. Trust me, I've failed a lot.
So research is one of those areas where nobody knows the answer. Nobody really knows what the answer is supposed to be. We get an idea. Of course, always check and see if somebody else has already done it.
Right.
But if nobody has, then run with it. And for undergraduate students, this is so important, that different way of thinking, that more critical way of thinking is important because they're going to see things in their lifetime that they're not going to know the answer to.
Right.
And
there's still things
does.
I don't know the answer to. So, but that it wasn't just AI. You talked about healthcare, and that's one of those things where something may work for one person, but it might not work for another person, right?
Right, right. So a lot of our research projects are healthcare based. We got the physical therapy department does quite a bit with aging populations, looking at different kinds of exercises or things that may help mitigate balance issues or help prevent falls.
Well, they're in the right town for retirement town.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel that. But
I wasn't taking shots or anything. But.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
But you're right though that sometimes you come up with an exercise regimen and it works for some people. It may not work for everybody. And knowing that, being able to do that again, research to figure out who does this work for, and then of course the bigger question is why does it work for this group and not for that group?
Right.
That's always a big question.
Right. And also, I get you got from this. You work with other people too. You don't just work with your group. You work with other colleges and. You said you got the Department of Defense and everything.
So almost all research these days is collaborative. 50 years ago, like I mentioned, you could just have a good idea. You could write a grant proposal, maybe get some funding, and by yourself, just working in a lab, you could discover something. But those times are gone. We've reached the point now where we need input from so many different directions. The world has gotten complicated. And so we have different disciplines working together. We have different universities working together. Of course, we like to work with our system. We like to work with Texas Tech and Midwestern and the Health Science Center, places like that. But we also have collaborations with Department of Defense. So we've got the Navy, we've got the Air Force we work with, we've got Department of Energy we work with. And of course, one of our big supporters is Department of Education. Since we are a teaching institution, we've got a lot of support there. And, brings together people from lots of different areas, lots of different backgrounds, lots of different perspectives on whatever problem you're trying to tackle.
Right.
Or whatever situation you're studying, which is really important.
Absolutely. Yeah, our conversation before was really interesting. It just brought up a lot of questions already that I'm like, well, maybe I don't know the answer. And it seems really interesting to just come out and see what these students have been working on.
Yeah, I think it's worth just taking a look, walking around, just to see the posters. I always like to look at them first. And there'll be 3 or 4 or 5 of them that catch my attention. I'm going to go and talk to those students, have them tell me a little more information. Of course, they can only put so much on the poster.
Right.
There's only so many words you want to put on there, and so you can learn a little bit from that. But it's better to talk to them, kind of get their perspective on things, and find out all the little details, and of course see how much they've grown. So when they come to us, they're 18 years old, and they don't really know how to do this kind of stuff, and then. As they go through these research projects, they really grow as people and they become more knowledgeable of how to tackle problems or opportunities, however you want to look at it, that maybe they would have been daunted by before.
Well, and do you think some of that is because they come out of these high schools where so much of it is pass fail, and then they get to college and maybe it's a little bit just a different way of thinking?
A lot of they don't have the opportunities for that sort of self-directed work in high school. I mean, a few high schools do, but most of them don't. They're going to go through classes where the curriculum is very set, very established, and so they haven't really stretched those mental muscles yet.
Right.
So we get them into the research labs, give them an opportunity for that, and it's really exciting to see how they develop as people. And of course, it's important because that's the next generation. They're going to be in a world that's totally different than anything we can imagine. I think I mentioned to you earlier, most of them are going to retire from a job that currently doesn't even exist.
No, you're right.
So,
I mean, yeah. Do you have to be a teacher, or can anybody go up to the ASU on the 8th and walk through and ask questions?
Anybody can come through. It's open to the public. So if you want to come up there, it's in the C.J. Davidson Center, so in the University Center, that very large room in there. Just come on in. Anybody can come in there. It's completely free, completely open. So,
all right. Well, David, did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I think we hit most all of the topics there. So.
All right. Well, so the 8th, C.J. Davidson Center. Go look at all these research projects that these students have been working on and
talk to them, ask them some questions, especially if you've got hard questions. That's always good. See what they come up with.
See if you can stump some of them.
Yeah. Good luck.
All right. Well, Dr. Bixler, thanks for coming in today.
No problem, James.
All right. Back to you guys.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Kano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Kano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Thank you for watching the Live Daily News Show, the only locally owned news show in the Concho Valley. Go like us on Facebook, X, and other social media platforms, and download the San Angelo mobile apps to update with news from in and around the Concho Valley. We won't have a live daily news tomorrow, as we will be live from the ArcLight Bar and Grill, but stay tuned for all of your election coverage November